Welcome back. Today we got something special. These are the Meze Audio Elites. So these are flagship level. Everything about them is top-notch. Build quality, RINARO diaphragm, pads, yoke, everything here, cable, everything top-notch, everything that you would expect at a set that costs near $4,000. So very much flagship level everything. Totally blown away by the set. Really, really impressive. Kind of made me a believer. I didn't really know. You kind of get a feeling for when people talk about high-end headphones, how good they are and how amazing they are. But I've only really listened to, and actually the last set of headphones I listened to were actually the Meze Audio 109 Pros. And those are, I don't know how many levels away from these they are. Like many, many levels away from this style of sound performance and build quality and all that. And those were top-notch build quality as well. But yeah, these are another level, a different planet of sound quality and performance and build. I don't even want to pick it up and fondle it too much. I'm kind of scared that I'm going to drop it or somehow damage it, and it's not mine. This is thankfully a loaner from Meze Audio, so thank you guys for letting me play with this for a few weeks. So let's kind of do a quick recap at the top. So what's the difference between headphones and IEMs? And generally, the over-the-ear style, large format driver, those two things have a huge impact on what headphones can do that IEMs cannot do, because IEMs have a small, tiny, faster driver, and it can do certain things better, such as resolution and detail. Those things are really good on IEMs, and if you switch between headphones and IEMs, you'll sort of notice that IEMs at even really small price points can do a high level of detail, super fast, super sharp, intense sound, very, very nice for the price. Headphones, you pay a little bit more, you get nicer headphones, but the over-the-ear, the fact that you're actually using the ear structure and the brain processes it, from outside of your ear, that makes a huge difference. Way more natural presentation. Just everything about that is more natural compared to what IEMs have to do, and piping ear right into the canal. That is a harder thing to accomplish. But, there's drawbacks, there's benefits and drawbacks to both of those, as I said. So what's actually, and I guess we can talk about, so planar IEMs, this is a planar magnetic set. Planar IEMs share a lot of the same characteristics, right? You get a really fast diaphragm. It can do amazing technical text on those, more extension, more resolution, more detail. Everything is a little bit better. Even on planar IEMs, everything is a little bit better. Everything is tighter, faster, more resolving. No different on the headphones. You kind of get the same thing, just a larger format driver, plus it is outside of your ear. So you get everything that is good about planar in IEMs, but better in headphones. So what's special about the Elite? It does have a crazy build quality. It is planar magnetic, like I talked about, and the price is kind of up there. But now, for me, I actually understand how good headphones can really be. And I think part of my hesitation previously was, even with the 109 Pros, was a large dynamic driver doesn't quite do everything what IEMs do in the same way. They're two different animals. And then when you hear a set like this, it's basically the worlds colliding. It's doing everything that IEMs can do, but doing them in a presentation that is outside your ear, over the ear. And that is totally different than what IEMs do. And everything that is effortless on a headphone, you get all of that, plus you get all the benefits of planar magnetic. So yeah, it is kind of an amazing experience to finally get have a set of planar magnetics on my head, and to hear this fully fleshed out and experience it. It's one thing to read about it, read people's impression on it, but a totally different thing to actually experience it. So again, very much thankful to Meze Audio for letting me have this experience. So what is the actual special bit here? And a lot of it is kind of right here, what you can see. So it is planar magnetic, but this is a RINARO diaphragm, so a huge diaphragm, and it's actually two diaphragms, and you can't really see it, and I'm not going to pull the pad off, but there's a upper bit. So the upper bit, they actually have a switchback, so the coils are actually switching back and forth. It kind of goes back and forth in a zigzag like that. That is doing the lower frequencies. That is hitting a little bit higher up on your ear. Again, this whole thing about over the ear and addressing sound directly to the upper part of your outer ear, kind of crazy genius. Maybe other sets do that, but as soon as I heard it, I understood why they did it and how good it is. And it's so far beyond what you can do with IEMs when IEMs are right in your canal and you don't have that much separation. So now we have the low frequency hitting your upper part of your ear, and then down below we have a spiral shaped diaphragm that's actually right above your ear canal doing the higher frequencies. So almost total separation, almost like having two different speakers hitting two different parts of your ear. You get almost total separation, layering, the whole imaging, layering, stacking, the way these two frequencies coexist in your head is totally different than what IEMs can do. They don't have, IEMs can do separation linearly, right? You can have sub bass, drop the mid bass down to 0, and you have some separation there into your mids. This is almost like two full frequency speakers. They're not full frequency, but a full speaker doing almost a subwoofer doing the lower frequencies and a total separate speaker doing the upper frequencies. Total separation. There's no real bass bleeding into your mids. They're totally separated, and they're separated in your head, layered stack. The bass will be a little bit further back. This, because it's right over your ear canal, sounds a little bit forward. Great separation, great imaging, better than what you can get on an IEM. And I would have said, this is a flagship level set just on the fact that it's a planar magnetic, but the fact that you have two diaphragms, and as a hobbyist and a guy who has heard tons of IEMs, to hear it actually executed on this large format planar, two diaphragms, the way that it actually hits your ear, there's just nothing like it on IEM land. They just don't, you can't really do that, even with bore tubes, even with multiple hybrid drivers. Very, very hard to accomplish what this thing can do simply by using your ear geometry in two different areas and really adjusting the frequency, kind of that crossover bit, which one is hitting your upper ear and which one is hitting right in your canal. Totally unique experience, totally blown away. Again, very much thankful to have heard this. And it was literally the first thing I said to Meze when I emailed them. I said, listen to this last night. Here is exactly what I noticed right away. And it was this dual diaphragm setup. Very, very unique, very cool. And if I had said nothing else in the review other than getting through that, I would be good. But we'll kind of march through some of the tuning bits of it. And I will say that the Elite is almost like the 109 Pro in that there's a lot of bass. I thought the 109 Pro had a lot of bass. This one I think has a lot of bass too. And this is a planar, so planar bass is actually a little bit more tolerable at higher levels. No different here. There's actually a lot of bass, but for me, what really gets me, even on IEMs, the Meze and the treble, all that extension that you get and all the resolution and the ability to resolve in the mids and the treble, that's what gets me on planar IEMs. That's what got me here. So yeah, I did actually EQ the bass down a little bit just so I could hear more of the mids and the treble. So I wouldn't say the bass at all has a problem. I would just say that I liked hearing, in my short time with it, I really wanted to focus on the mids and treble because it's kind of stunning to hear mids and treble, planar style, huge diaphragm over the ear. That is what I wanted to hear, and that's what I focused on. And again, the mids, it's exactly what I was just talking about. It's part this planar text, it's part that planar sharpness and speed that even IEMs can do. Part is this richness and timbre that you get from over the ear that you can't get on an IEM because you're doing ear gain compensation, and smaller planar drivers tend to be a little bit brighter. They're just tuned kind of wacky right now. And to do it in this large format over the ear, it kind of bypasses all those problems. And then the other bit, like I was just talking about, the two diaphragms, lots of space, lots of imaging, lots of separation. The whole thing comes together into the mids, and it's just absolutely stunning. Absolutely an experience more than just simple playback. And I wouldn't say that the planar texts are radically different, but to do it on a large format diaphragm, not piped through a nozzle, no ear gain compensation, it's similar, but probably unobtainably better than what you can do on an IEM. Even a big dynamic driver doesn't really come close to it. There's just something about, I love planars, and to hear a huge one doing it over the ear, yeah, absolutely stunning what it can do. And again, like I said, so planar IEMs, kind of in the ballpark, but they're still kind of messing around with ear gain and tuning and trying to get the brightness and the metallic out of it. large format over the ear. You don't have to deal with any of that. It just kind of comes across very natural, and your brain processes it in that way as almost two different speakers with a very natural tonality to it. Yeah, absolutely great. And treble, again, kind of similar to IM planners, but if you're used to, like I'll even say the same thing about the 109 Pro. The treble extension on the 109 Pro I don't think was all that stunning, but throw a planar driver in there, throw two planar drivers in there, and then now you have that treble extension that you would be familiar with on an IM. Stunning, right? And then they have all that bass, and like I said, I wouldn't really nitpick the bass too much because you needed a little bit more bass to pair with this more extended treble. That all worked out perfectly well, but very much solid treble all the way out, as planar should do. And the difference with the over the ear, there's no ear gain, so it doesn't thin out. Even in the upper treble, it's very, very linear all the way out, and you don't have the added brightness and some of that metallic bit that you get on the IMs. Just a very full dynamic presentation, and that's the bit that most planers on IM style are kind of missing. And to have it done on a bigger format, I think it's just easier to maintain a much fuller level of treble, a much richer presentation of treble. I think maybe their diaphragm is better, but there's something about the larger format and then the over the ear that IMs can't quite get there. It's a very great model, and I listen to it and I think, well, how do we EQ and do things on IMs to get a sound similar to this? But yeah, I think for right now, it's a little bit unobtainium getting to that kind of level of separation and extension and doing everything that this one can do simply by being over the ear. And then stage, kind of very much exactly what you would expect. Very much around the head and layered, and everything has its own space and air. Great shape in the same, great stage, as in the same as I would say about IEMs. The sound never originates from the ears. And even though this is essentially two different speakers sitting over your ear, you never really hear sound originating from them. It's always projected around your head exactly as you would expect on a really nice sound stage, on a really nice pair of headphones, on a flagship level of headphones. That's exactly what you get, and it never really breaks the illusion of that you're wearing something around your head. Everything is projected and spaced out and tightly imaged, just exactly the way you would expect it to be on flagship headphones. So that is what I got on the Meze Audio Elite. So again, thank you Meze Audio for letting me borrow these. Very much entranced by the dual diaphragm, and thank you guys again for sticking with me, and I will see you next time.